Travis Wayne Goodsell. Woke up at midnight and have been fooling around with the news. One thing that's interesting is that whenever I would do a preemptive video about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or when I had my website, the church always backed off of actually doing it and retracted or changed the policy yet again. And I watched the American press concerning Ukraine war, and I see they're using the same tactic that I used on Russia this time, because Putin, if the American press is saying Putin will do this, Putin will do that, Putin will do this, he'll pull a Trump and say, it's the American press, they are out to get me, they hate me, I am innocent, I'm doing all these military actions because I am the leader, I can do whatever I want. Working with Belarus, sure, we are surrounding Ukraine, so what? I'm not attacking, it's the American press, fake news. He does that, he plays dumb, and yeah, and so, I don't know, it's a good strategy. It worked for me to save your lives. None of you thank me for, as you keep falling out of the tree every Groundhog Day. Yeah. But Mormons don't get it. You don't. You think you can just put a thumbs down, deny, and move along. You're not bothering to study the religion. You're not bothering to study Mormonism. You don't care to have questions answered. I did. I was born and raised Mormon. There are tons of questions the church is not answering. And it's not complicated questions. It's very simple and easy and obvious questions. But the church refuses to answer them. And they lie to us, and they get caught in a lie. And we know they're lying, and they still keep lying. And yet you don't care? I mean, dear God, why are you Mormon? Why? You're in a church you know is lying to us. They aren't answering questions. You don't have any care to search for questions or search for answers. Search to know what the real Mormonism is all about. Even ex-Mormons, they don't either. You know, all these channels that do videos and all that stuff, they're not really doing any research. Somebody else made a discovery and they do a video on it to circulate the same information over and over again online. And so, for example, Joseph Smith was arrested when he was 20 years old, which was a child back then, because the law stipulated that an adult is at 21 years of age. You have to know those kinds of things if you're going to do actual research. So Joseph Smith is a child, he's 20 years old. Seems kind of weird because it's 18 now. And he's arrested as a glass looker in the Bainbridge court. They found the record, and the church just, nope, we can't verify it. What do you mean we can't verify it? It's a court document. Of course we can verify it. But the church just refuses. They don't want it to be known. They just resist. And it's all the individual stuff separately that they resist and deny. And so Mormons will do a thing on, oh yeah, he was arrested as a glass looker. You know, but you don't see the bigger picture. You think Joseph Smith just fraudulently created, like an author creating a fiction novel. Which, if you stop and go, wait a minute, fiction novel? Huh, that's interesting. As a young man, he's writing a book. Well, that's kind of impressive. But ex-Mormons don't see it that way. Mormons don't even see it that way. You know, they have the magical witchcraft thing. Oh, nobody else can do what Joseph Smith did. You know, the 30 things, if you're going to try to do what he did. You know, they create stuff out of that list that didn't happen just to make it impressive for Mormons with their itching ears. But then Sidney Rigdon. Mormons refuse to believe Sidney Rigdon's the major author of the Book of Mormon. That's just anti-Mormon hate, spreading lies. Really? Is it? Are you unfamiliar with science? Are you in denial of science? Do you wish your school would not teach you science? Just do pure Mormon doctrine? Do you think you'll be successful in a science field? The Dark Ages were the Dark Ages for a reason, guys. If it wasn't for those who maintained science, the whole world would have been wasted. But linguistic scientists, authorship of the Book of Mormon, who wrote the Book of Mormon, or authorship, who wrote, something like that. I guess I can get the actual title for you. They have several segments that are about 10-15 minutes long, and I think it's number 4 that shows the chart of who wrote the Book of Mormon. Authorship, who wrote the Book of Mormon. Yeah, it's the Ex-Mormon Foundation, so Mormons automatically dismiss it. Oh, they're automatically wrong. They hate the church. Yeah, there's the playlist of all of them. And apparently Book of Mormon Central has what's her name from Pride and Prejudice. Why are you showing Pride and Prejudice on Book of Mormon Central, guys? Why didn't YouTube come down and shut you down? If I showed that clip, they would have done it to me. But Pride and Prejudice, that was an awesome movie. So inspiring when I got out of that. I was dating 2 women at that movie. The thing is, the one I wanted had no interest in me because her best friend is the one who wanted me, and I didn't want her because she proved herself not to be trusted. But such is the life of a Mormon single. But yeah, authorship. Who really wrote the Book of Mormon? Part 1 to Part 9. There's Part 4. 10 minutes, 21 seconds. Craig Criddle, PhD, is a professor and senior fellow, Woods Institute for the Environment, Stanford University. This presentation, ... And I've used those pictures. I took snapshots from that video to show you, and I've been confirming it. I'm the one who confirmed that Joseph Smith Sr. rewrote the 116 pages, and the video, Corrected LDS History, explains the changes that Joseph Smith Sr. made from the original 116 pages of William Morgan. I'm that guy too. See, for me, I want to know the answers. If the church is lying to us, what's the truth? And so I do the research. I find the answers. I present them in videos for you. And Mormons just say, nope, nope, you're not doing real research. You guys don't know how to do research. I've seen you guys. You read the church's manuals and you memorize the stories and you think you have done research. That's not how you do research, guys. Is that what they're teaching you in school? Is that how they're teaching you? I mean, dear God, how are you surviving? How are you living your lives? I hope you're not in a field of science. I hope you're just flipping burgers for a living. Seriously. And yet, I know there are Mormons who are in positions of jobs that impact people's lives. And you won't apply what you should have learned for that education, that field that you're in, into Mormonism. Why? Don't you care? Are you just in it for being in it? Are you... it makes no sense to me. Why you would hate other people to claim that the church is true. Why would you do that? You know the church is all about love. You know religion and God is all about love, and yet you use it to hate. It makes no sense. And so, I don't know if my internet will be shut down today after 7, or if I will again be given another warning. But the church destroyed me. You know, the one true church of Jesus, they're claiming, without claiming, it's a non-verbal claim that Jesus approves of destroying my life, as I am dedicated to finding out the truth about the church. See, I'm not going in to find fault with the church. I want to know the truth. And so I found out. Corrected LDS history of Joseph Smith, first vision, and Moroni visit, which was actually Nephi. It's corrected. It's in the Joseph Smith papers. Do you Mormons not care? There are bombshells in the Joseph Smith papers that the church doesn't want you to know about, but does the surface thing anyway, saying, oh, Joseph Smith papers, yeah, we're not publishing the church history anymore, it's all in the Joseph Smith papers. What? Why aren't we changing at least our canon version to comply with the Joseph Smith paper version? So that we all know now and teach other people correctly that it's Nephi. Oh, no, Joseph Smith is wrong. The founding prophet has no clue of the name, the correct name of the person that came to see him. He's wrong. He has no clue. Joseph is wrong. Golden, not gold. And there's a reason why they say golden, as I bring out in that video. It's the Knights Templar. Egyptian gold plates. Which means it's coded, and only those who know how to decode, which means those who know about the Knights Templar, which in those days was those who were a part of the York Rites Freemasonry. Not the Scottish Rites, York Rites. Scottish Rites were the 33-degree Masons. But everybody lumps them all together. They're all the same, they're all evil, satanic, child-eating baby lizards from outer space at the basement of the pizza parlor. It's just, come on, guys. If you're gonna lie, at least make it be realistic. You know? But I guess that's funnier, to make up something so absurd and to watch other people believe you. Oh, look at those suckers and losers. They believe that actual lizards from outer space are invading our nation and are part of the deep state. They're so dumb. Literally, you're getting played for suckers and losers in the church. You know, seriously? Joseph Smith and his magic rock. rather than Sidney Rigdon as the major author and Senior having to take over because Junior botched his babysitting assignment. Because that's what it was. He had to babysit Martin Harris. Martin Harris insisted on being a part of it. And so what do? You know, he's the money man. You need his money. He demands to be a part of it and actively tries to see if it's legitimate. Goes to New York. Is told it's not legitimate. But nonetheless, it starts off anyway. But yeah, the original 116 pages were too much for him. When you learn that, you know, the church is deleting knowledge from the internet now. They're purposely withholding information and deleting it, as I've had to do those videos exposing the church after I'd done the videos in the first place. They just don't want you to know the truth. I mean, why? See, for me, I still favor Joseph Smith. Ex-Mormons don't understand this. Mormons don't understand this. And neither side seems to care. Nobody wants to know the truth. And here I am, potentially 5 hours away from being shut off online, and there is concern that once certain people that have caused my harm under orders of the church learn that I've lost my internet, will attack because they know I won't be able to contact the federal government, who will step in and say, hey, what's going on, guys? Come on. And delay it even further. This has been going on since 2008-17. The attacks. That's why I knew I had to marry a Mormon when I got freed from Utah's concentration camp. It's a Nazi concentration camp right here in Utah. And you do not understand what that means. They're in violation of the United States. President Kennedy signed the act saying, hey, no more. If people are truly, and they need care, we can't be using it like the Nazis did or the Russians did in the 1960s when Kennedy was signing the act. You know, you can't do that, but the church did it because I came to them and said, hey, Joseph Smith is a translator. Because again, the church doesn't want anything to do with translation. So it's just sitting there in our records and our documents. And I want to know the answer. And just having faith? Seriously? That's not what James is talking about. Faith without works is dead. But the church just wants us to have faith. They don't want us to produce the works. And so I produce the works because I follow the scriptures. I follow Joseph Smith. And sure enough, hey, Joseph is right. Why is the church not promoting this? He's our founder. You'd think they'd promote Joseph. And they don't. Instead, they promote Joseph in name only when it works in their favor. So, you know, the Relief Society, which becomes a two-parter because of a 2-hour addition to the 1 hour. But apparently you guys are only interested in restoring polygamy than you are that there's going to be a new Relief Society presidency called. And the new Relief Society presidency called is the one where the bombshells are to help explain the polygamy. But nope, only 21 views in 13 hours versus 96 views in 1 day for the polygamy one. But that's all my channels have been for you. To let you know what the church won't. I'm answering your questions. because I did the research. And Mormons hate when they claim to love. My Mormon neighbor, became my enemy because he used the church to hate me. And he claims he doesn't understand and doesn't see what the problem is, because he says he loves me. As he told me to get out of here. I don't belong here. I'm not attending church, so I have to leave. And he doesn't understand how that's hate. Mormons, when I say I'm being attacked, well, if you don't like it, leave. That's hate. You're not supposed to kick people out. And I can't get that through to Mormons. That is a failure on my part, that I can't convince Mormons to love. Because seeking the truth and correcting the history, correcting the scriptures, is an act of love. Because you're not deceiving other people. You're not lying to people like the church has done. And that's what Mormons can't come to grips with. That the church has lied, which means they hate. If you have to lie and cover things up, you hate. We all know this. You're having an affair in your marriage, and your wife catches you, and you lie and cover it up, you hate her. It's that simple. You don't love your wife. You were loving somebody else, which is not really love, because you were lying and deceiving that person too. You're a person who hates, and that's the lesson. That's why the 10 Commandments were the 10 Commandments, even though they were taken from the Egyptians' 42 affirmations. It's to teach people to love. And the Pharisees did not understand it. They thought it was to take away people's agency. And so they created hedge laws, just like the church has done with the For Strength of the Youth pamphlet. Those are hedge laws. And when you treat them like Nazi obedience, you hate other people as a result. Oh, I can't associate with you. You drink Mountain Dew. Yeah, you're now a hater. The church taught you to hate. I mean, seriously? Oh, that dress is a little too high. You can't associate with us. You got to go home and change. Wow. Talk about your hate, mean girls. Why can't you love? So, I mean, people are joining the church, obeying the church to destroy my life. That's not love. They actually committed crimes against me. And because of how conspiratorially broad it is, they're all letting each other get away with it. Just like in Helaman chapter 6. They all protect each other to destroy me, the whistleblower of the church, who's trying to get you guys to love. That's been the underlining theme of all this. Correcting LDS history, telling you the truth, that's loving you. New Relay Society presidency, love, because the church isn't telling us. They're not saying that we're going to have a new presidency. It's only for those of you who actually study and figure out the pattern that I did in the video for you. LDS Church announces restoration of polygamy. Polygamy is hate. And so I call it out. Church is sinking fast in their quicksand. That's all about the wheat and the tares, the sheep from the goats, the wheat and the chaff. The church is using those scriptures to hate, to kick out the righteous, to destroy the righteous, so that only those who hate are left for the church. How is a church supposed to function that way? Because the prophets are always going to be concerned that somebody's going to stab them in the back so that they can rise up the chain of command. That's what hate groups have to fear, is from within their own group. Because everybody knows that success and prosperity comes from when you take over. And the scriptures are actually saying, no, you got to remove hate. LDS Prophet remains silent about Brad Wilcox. You know, they didn't even come out and condemn him. They won't do it. They hate. Boy Scouts. Church gets religious freedom exemption. How is that love to be involved and know of over 90,000 cases of Boy Scouts getting raped and saying, we're not paying for it? How is that love? And when it first came out, yeah, there were people who recognized, well, the Boy Scouts of America, you take oaths and other stuff, chants, you know, of loyalty and being good and kind to your neighbor. And here the church, big proponent of Boy Scouts for decades, betrays the Scout oath and the Scout law and all things scouting. It was all just a fraud. And so, yeah, I did lots of Brad Wilcox videos, because Brad doesn't love you. When you're a racist, when you're a sexist, when you're a bigot, when you neglect the poor, you don't love. That's hate. How complicated is that? So the birth of the Mormon Christ. If Jesus is not our Christ, don't you want to know the true Christ of Joseph Smith? You'd think that, of all things, would be on the top of everybody's minds. Well, if it's not Jesus, because Constantine created him, well, then who is the true Christ? But no, nobody cares. LDS presidents judged by Mormon God. There is punishment from a deity, as he has a sign in the heavens for the event on earth. The likeness of things on the earth. Revelation 12:1 from the Joseph Smith translation. And I keep giving it to you. God is upset. God is punishing the church. You don't care. And then I had told you I was collecting the Brigham Young sermons, because even though it's all hate, he confesses to being the one responsible. When we've all heard, oh, it's Joseph Smith who started all this. No. Brigham Young, bombshells. The real truth comes out. And so he ordered the death penalty for mixed race families. If you have kids with somebody of not your ethnic group, you, your wife, and the kids have to die, because God's law says so. That's the whole Brad Wilcox thing. That's the whole religious freedom thing of the church. We're a religion we can hate. It's God's law to hate. It's not complicated. So, I technically am very tired and I need to go back to bed. I'm going to skip my run today. But yeah, all of these things, the latter days, we're in the latter days. If the prophets truly loved you, they would warn you. Specifically, not generally. Make sure you have a year's supply. Oh, they warned us to have a year's supply, and now it's gone on 3 years that we should have had a year's supply. That's not love. That's not a revelator. That's not a prophet. You failed. Signs in the heavens. Nope, nothing to see here. And so, yes, Mormons, because the church isn't doing their job, because the prophets, seers, and revelators, and not counting translators, aren't doing their job, Mormons are doing their own thing. No love. And so a Sunday school lesson. I mean, how many of you are going to continue to go to church? We've seen it's a wave. We were told by the medical professionals in the beginning, it will wave if we don't stop it. And so, yes, we're in a downward trend. And so everybody thinks, hey, let's go back out and make it go up again. What? They told us what to do, and nobody cares. Nobody loves. And so I show my love by giving you the real Sunday school lesson that should be given to you, so that you can stay home. And the whole Magog thing, exposing the church, seeking to overthrow America and the world governments. That's not love. That's not how it's supposed to be done. But they're using scriptures to justify being bad, to justify hate. And Mormons don't see it. So the Mormon governor covers up our stats. I exposed his hate of you, and you don't care. And then Mormons getting converted, looking for love, can't find it among Mormons, and so they find some other guy who murders them. And James Huntsman, dear God, seriously? Do you not know the difference between fast offerings and tithing? Which one's a donation? No, not both. Which one is the donation? Do you understand the definition of a donation? How are fast offerings different from tithing? Oh, well, fast offerings go for the Bishop's Storehouse at Welfare Square. What? No. You are not required to pay fast offerings. It's not on the list of questions for your worthiness interview for the temple. You don't have to pay. That's a donation. When you choose on your own to just give. But tithing is not a donation. How hard is this to understand? And James blows it. And the church lets him blow it as they enhance it. Yes, donations. We can do whatever we want with donations. We can launder between different groups and companies. We're our religion. We're exempt from tax laws. Religious freedom. You blew it. So, alrighty. I mean, I don't know what more to say to you guys if I'm allowed to continue doing videos. I mean, the church does a stupid thing and it's in the news. Yeah, I'll cover it and I'll get lots of views, like Brad, who I'm sure will surpass 100 by the end of the day today. That first one. Because even though it says 928 in 4 days, it's actually, what was it, over 944 or something like that? We'll check snapshot of it. So which one is it? That one says 9:31. Yeah, it's 9:31. So it's not that big of a leap above. The analog program just can't keep up. It has to reconfigure my whole video thing because it was designed to silence me. This is why Blockbuster collapsed. It had nothing to do with poor management. It was the analog program. Remember when you'd go to Blockbuster and looking for the new releases and they were all out? So you went to Hollywood Video or you went home empty? Yeah, that was because of the analog program. The analog program told the Blockbuster stores how many copies of a particular new release to receive. And so instead of realizing that the analog program is the problem, Blockbuster did try our family favorites. If you're looking for this video, try this one instead from our family favorites. Yeah, nobody fell for that, right? There was a few, but for the most part, nope. The analog program destroyed Blockbuster. And it wasn't until they went to the monthly pass, right near the end of their days, that they started to do well. But again, they were hurting themselves still because people wanted the new releases. And the management assured us, oh yeah, we'll make sure to give you all our stores extra copies of new releases because of this rollout. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, they caused a problem and then punished you by not getting your video back in time with the late fees. You know, even if it's a second late because of the human involvement to get it when you get it to us and when we get it scanned in the computer. 1 second late and you get charged a late fee. Unless we catch it as such. But when we have the regular employees doing the check-ins. Yeah. So yes, I worked at Blockbuster. Back in the day. Among many other jobs in my life. But you guys just don't care. There's only a few who are actually interested, who are my regular viewers, and they don't even acknowledge themselves all the time. But yeah, Mormons believe in Passover, or Easter, not Passover. Sharing with you my education. Only 32 views in 13 days. Where is the love? Where is the love? Well. Alrighty.